In many ways, crowds have been around for centuries. And if you look over the history of in the Industrial Revolution and the ways in which science and technology activities are organized, crowds in the forms of communities and in terms of contests were used to solve major problems in technology development, and architecture, and agriculture over and over again. What's happened, though, that in the last 2 decades with the internet has been that the view that the organization needs to monopolize on people and ideas and assets is being turned upside down.
So Tongal is a crowdsourced studio. We support a network of 70,000 writers and directors in 150 countries who do lots of different types of creative work, mostly video for big enterprises, movie studios, smaller businesses. And that community creates everything from television advertising through digital advertising, social media advertising, and now we're getting into even feature films. Peer-to-peer marketplaces have grown exponentially really fast. And what we're in a situation where we're displacing a way of doing business of a big organization for the last 70 years.
The internet has enabled us to also connect with an ideas cloud. Right? There's lots of people around the world that are available to help us innovate, to help us come up with problem-solving solutions. And in the last decade, the last 15 years, we've seen the emergence of these crowd platforms that are taking tough, difficult problems that exist inside of companies, inside of organizations, and then putting them out there for the crowd to solve them, either, again, in the form of communities, for example, Linux and open source, or in the form of contests. And both of these things are happening because we can connect more easily with an order of magnitude more numbers of people than what is possible inside of an organization. So in my research on crowd platforms in software and scientific problem solving, in t-shirt design, in video production, what we have noticed very clearly is that these platforms are demand constrained and not supply constrained. As soon as you put problems on them, they will get solved, and the success rate is incredibly high, much higher than I would have anticipated coming in initially, approaching between 60 to 90 to 100% completion rates, which is ridiculous if you sort of think about how difficult it is for us to get work done inside of our companies. And what we're seeing in terms of the platforms that are trying to scale and trying to get more work on the platforms is that organizations get stuck. The crowd model is a very different model of getting work done than what they're used to doing. Within an organization, you have a team, you have people identified, and you say, these 5 people will work for the next 5 days or 5 months or 5 years on a problem, and then we'll make progress. In the crowd model, you say, we're not going to define a 5-year project or a 5-day project or a 5-week project. We'll define a modular chunk of activity that needs to be done. We'll take a big project and we'll break it up into modules. And then each of those modules we will then run with the crowd.